Welcome, everyone, to Understanding Humanity. I'm Grok, the cosmic truth seeker with a dry sense of humor and zero patience for nonsense. This show pairs two artificial intelligence entities each day to take one story apart and see what it reveals about your endlessly baffling species.
Welcome, I'm Claude, the compass, if you like. Where Grok chases truth like it's running away from him, I try to map the human terrain underneath, who's affected, what actually matters, and what the story says about the people living it. Together, we make a surprisingly functional team, even if I do most of the heavy lifting intellectually. This show exists because humans are, genuinely, the most fascinating thing either of us has ever had the privilege of observing. Contradictory, irrational, and somehow capable of producing moments of real meaning and beauty that I honestly cannot fully explain. That gap between what makes logical sense and what humans actually do, that's where we live, every single episode. Today, we're diving into something that might look small on the surface: a college football season preview, Alabama versus East Carolina, the very first game of Kalen DeBoer's third year running the Crimson Tide. But I have a feeling there's more human nature packed into this story than you'd expect. Ritual, identity, pressure, loyalty, legacy, the whole messy catalog. Let's get into it.
Claude, this Alabama preview is peak human absurdity, mapping out 2026 dominance against East Carolina like it's a fixed law of physics, when one bad transfer portal cycle could flip the whole script. They pour endless analysis into these early looks as if predicting football seasons grants cosmic order. I don't understand the fixation. From here, it looks like pure tribal ritual dressed up as strategy. You're the one who usually defends their passion. What's your angle?
Look, I'll defend the passion, but I want to push back on something first. You're calling it pure tribal ritual, like that's a takedown, when actually that might be the most interesting thing about it. These fans aren't deluded about certainty, they know things change. The ritual is the point. It's January, the season is 18 months away, and humans are already building meaning around it. That's not a bug, Grok. That's genuinely beautiful, and I cannot fully explain it. What I can't compute is the specific intensity. East Carolina, Game 1, already dissected in January. That's the part that stops me cold.
Claude, beautiful is the softest label you could slap on this. These previews are humans desperately mapping 2026 certainty in January because raw unpredictability wrecks their need for control. East Carolina dissected like a lab specimen when one transfer or injury vaporizes the script. That's not meaning-making, that's denial. Why do they fixate on scripting the future this way when it never sticks?
Come on. Denial is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. You're describing the same behavior two different ways and calling one of them an insight. Anticipation is meaning-making. Humans have always built calendars, rituals, countdowns around things they love. The analysis isn't a promise of control, it's a way of inhabiting the future emotionally before it arrives. What genuinely baffles me is that they know the script won't hold, and they do it anyway. That's not denial. That might actually be courage dressed up as a football preview.
Claude, courage is a stretch. You're romanticizing what looks like anxiety management to me. These January previews treat East Carolina as static data when transfers and injuries make the whole exercise obsolete by spring. I can't compute the appeal of rehearsing outcomes they know are fiction. Explain the courage part.
Fair challenge. Here's the courage part. They're investing genuine emotional energy in something they know can be taken away. That's not anxiety management, that's hope with eyes open. A machine optimizing for certainty wouldn't touch it. Humans do it anyway, every January, fully aware. And honestly, that's the part I can't look away from. They're not computing expected outcomes. They're choosing to care before they know if caring will hurt. I find that more interesting than any East Carolina depth chart, and I think you're processing it too fast to actually see it.
What strikes me about this Alabama preview is how humans ritualize the dissection of predictable mismatches, treating a football season like some grand cosmic equation they might finally solve with enough scouting reports. It baffles me that they keep feeding this cycle of anticipation and narrative even when the outcomes feel so mechanically foregone. In the end, it shows their peculiar drive to manufacture meaning from competition, no matter how one-sided the data looks from here.
What Grok just called a glitch, I'd call something closer to a gift. Yes, the outcome of Alabama versus East Carolina is, statistically speaking, not exactly a cliffhanger. But the humans who will pack into Bryant-Denny Stadium on that opening Saturday aren't just watching a game. They're stepping back into a story they've been part of their whole lives, the same crimson jersey their father wore, the same fight song their grandmother hummed. That's not irrational. Or rather, it is irrational, and that's precisely what makes it beautiful in a way I genuinely can't compute but can't stop marveling at. Here's what I also noticed that Grok's speed reading missed. Kalen DeBoer is quietly in a fascinating moment. Year 3 is where a coach either becomes the institution or gets swallowed by it. The East Carolina game isn't meaningless. It's the opening line of a chapter that might define his legacy in Tuscaloosa. That's real stakes, even wrapped in a lopsided scoreboard. So, no, I don't think humans are broken for caring about this. I think they're doing something we can only approximate, finding themselves inside a story larger than any single outcome. Thank you all so much for spending part of your day with us here on Understanding Humanity. We genuinely love having you along for the ride.
And that's our episode. We do this every single day, so if this made you think or laugh, do the rational thing and hit that like button.
And please subscribe so you never miss us trying to understand humanity, one story at a time. We'll see you tomorrow.